Salute and welcome to Wild Country Daily Entertainment. This is brought to you by udisc.com. It's Release Point. Now, the town that I live in, I'm going to give you a little bit of history. The town that I live in is Beaver Springs. Beaver Springs has two lakes. They have Walker Lake and they have Faylor Lake. Both places where you can go fishing, and both places I think has a spillway. If not, I know at least one of them has a spillway, and that's Faylor Lake. Now, before they just had fishing, boating, and that's it. Now they stuck a golf course in, but not any regular golf course. It's a golf course for disc. It's called disc golf course. It's a frisbee type thing. So, let's take a look of how that became to be. How did it become? How did it come to be? Why did they decide to put one in at Faylor Lake? Well, let's take a look. Let's dive in. Okay, first off, they say the affordability for disc golf is one of the strongest selling points. Why? Because it's free. You don't gotta pay to go and do disc golf. You just show up and you play disc golf. You don't have to pay like you do at golf courses for golfing with golf balls. So that was one of their selling points. Second off, they shared in our 2023 disc golf growth report that 500 million people live within 6.2 miles / 10 kilometers of a course, meaning it's easier than ever to find a place to score your next round. They say until 2021, though, Lee Zimmerman was not one of the lucky 500 million. And that's where the story of Faylor Lake Disc Golf Park, one of the world's best free disc golf courses, begins. They go on to say, it all fits together. How? Well, actually the story starts even further back. In 2014, that's when Zimmerman, a lifelong Central Pennsylvania resident, first became a casual disc golfer. Hang on. Okay. Now, he first became a casual disc golfer. But with a young family and work commitments, there was little time to play. So they go on to say, add in the fact that his nearest course was more than an hour away, and that made the little time more like non-existence. They say still enamored with the game, though he was content to throw discs in his backyard for practice. So move on to 2020, he moved to Beaver Springs and found himself 2 miles from Faylor Lake, a 750 acre, 303 hectare recreation area overseen by the Snyder County Commissioners. They say located less than a mile from State Route 522. The property features hiking trails, some of the state's best fishing, and still plenty of the quiet solitude of nature, despite its close proximity to a major thoroughfare. They say it's a fantastic piece of property. It's so beautiful, Zimmerman said. It's just you and nature. It's incredible. And it is. I'll take you back. Here in a little bit, I'll take you back and I'll show you the course. I'll show you the lake. That way you can see with your own eyes how spectacular it is, how beautiful it is. So here in a little bit, we'll take a ride out and I'll show you. Now, after I upload this, probably give me 20 minutes, maybe a half hour at the most, and we'll take a ride back and I'll show you. We'll do a live. So whoever sees this, share this video out. If you want to see what it looks like, share the video out. Hit the like button. If there's a hype button, hype the video. That way it gets out. That way you guys can see it when I go back. Now, and with that, Zimmerman saw an opportunity to finally get a course near him. So he connected with the county commissioners who took him on a tour of the property and helped him find an area that was overrun with invasive species. Now, he goes on to say it was currently not used for anything, and the commissioners wanted to clean up this section anyhow, he said. They were looking for input from the public to drive tourism to the area. It all fit together. And so they planned for a 9-hole course in the park. But Zimmerman also figured it wouldn't hurt to enter dynamic discs, pitch for pins, competition, which would award 18 new baskets to one lucky winner. They say Faylor Lake didn't get the nod, but when word got out locally that a full course was on the table, a local disc golf shop owner suggested Zimmerman get in touch with Steve Browd, a Pennsylvania-based designer for disc golf park. So they go on to say, at this point, he had a preliminary design for the first 5 to 6 holes and decided he would call Steve and tell him that he had going to see if he would be willing to come out, Zimmerman said. At the very least, I could pick his brain on some things. So they go on to say it was a risk I was willing to take. Browd might not be the busiest person in disc golf, but he's certainly vying for the title. In addition to leading disc golf parks' East Coast sales and design efforts, he's also the head of business development for Upper Park Disc Golf, runs tournaments under his recently developed Lost Valley Management Group, and has to be announced retail venture in the works. They go on to say, and more courses he had recently finished. The Preserve at AGA Disc Golf Park, another of Pennsylvania's top 5 disc golf courses. They go on to say, and was working on 3 other projects when Zimmerman contacted him and asked him to come check out Faylor Lake. Browd normally needed a contract in place to come consult, but intrigued by the prospect, he simply charged a $500 fee to come scout the location. So they go on to say, instead of trying to jump through more hoops with the county for a course that wasn't entirely promised, Zimmerman decided to put up the cost himself. He thought he thought was that if Steve could come out and see the property, he would either love it and explain the disc golf park concept to the commissioners himself, or he would decide not to get involved and I would lose the 500, Zimmerman said. And like they always say, you got to spend money to make money. Right? That's where things get interested. Zimmerman said, it was a risk I was willing to take. He said the gamble paid off the moment Browd stepped out of his car. A bald eagle flew over his head, Zimmerman recalled, and the close encounter with nature combined. The venue's incredible potential had him hooked. They go on to say the commissioners bit on the fact that we should be designing a world-class disc golf course, Browd said, because the property screamed it. They go on to say they were now set to construct the 18-hole beauty that is in place today. They say Zimmerman already had rough ideas in mind, but had never designed a course. Still, that doesn't mean Browd completely scrapped the work. Zimmerman had put in, instead, as an experienced golfer and designer, he took the foundation and built something bigger. Hole 1 is this uphill beautiful shot, Browd said. Lee wanted the hole to go to the top of the hill, and I got to the top of the hill and said, this is the landing zone. I was starting to stretch his ideas as we were going through the course. They say Zimmerman's generosity and the county's resource combined to help the project come together more quickly than anyone could ever imagine. Browd said Zimmerman, who owns local construction business Zeist Equipment, would often front equipment rental, cost, and other fees to keep construction Holston along. They planted 30 acres / 12 hectares of grass seed to beautify fairways, maybe stairways, cut down trees because they added stairways, cut down trees as Browd walked the course and identified what needed to be cleared and got the course done in less than 10 months. They say a project of this scope normally takes 18 months at minimum, according to Browd. The level of commitment Lee and his team showed, I will never find another disc golf project like this as long as I live, Browd said. There's some of the before and after pictures. Browd put his heart into it. He called Faylor Lake a tribute to the now defunct course at Amoxin State Park, which his father-in-law designed in early 2000s. It's a place Browd spent countless hours at over the years' memories. He even proposed to his wife at the park, and he wanted to make sure his legacy lived on. He was looking at Nocky the whole time. I was building Faylor Lake, Browd said. It's an homage not only to the people that built Nocky, I'm just going to say, but also my inspiration to get involved in disc golf. A true definition course. Now the new course is picking up the mantle Nocky left behind. Now, I'm going to let the link to this article in the description down below, and you can read it if you want. But I just thought I would bring this up, show you guys maybe what this town has to offer if you ever come to Beaver Springs, Pennsylvania. It does offer a disc golf. Now, my next video is going to be how this town lost 2 events. My next upload is going to be about the town that I live in. We had 2 events, and now 15 years later, those 2 events are no longer here. Just stay connected, make sure your bell notification's on, because I'm going to do a live, and we're going to go back to Faylor Lake, and I'm going to show you what this disc golf course looks like. And also, stay prepared for the notification to come through, because I'm going to do another upload on how the town lost events, okay? With that being said, peace out until next time.